Are you alright?
This place is gonna explode in 3 minutes!
What happened here?
Zombie Revenge. You know you're in for something special when a game starts with a beat-down shot of a bunch of zombies. It's an arcade beat-em-up that was in the arcades around 1998 and made it to the Dreamcast the following year. And so it's an early release for either of those systems. In the Dreamcast version, you get a choice of 3 different game balances. We're going to go for normal mode, which closely resembles the arcade version of Zombie Revenge. And I hope you like this music, because you're going to be hearing it a lot. So here we get our choice of 3 different very awkward polygon people.
Stick right.
Are we still following this guy?
He's the one making the zombie. To catch him, we have to follow.
And if you like bad voice acting, you're in for a treat.
Bullets.
As you can see, the game's a 3D beat-em-up where you can face any direction, so that's different from belt scrollers like Die Hard Arcade or Streets of Rage. And despite having many moves in this game, the controls are kept pretty simple. It's a 3-button layout where you have a turbo button, a shoot button, and a fist button. Turbo button lets you not only run, but knock down opponents, and also even roll out of the way of a dangerous situation.
Here, take this! A man with golden eyes said to give it to you!
One neat gimmick in the game is that when you get attacked by a zombie, you're poisoned. When that happens, your life bar slowly fills up with this weird mist. If it fills up too much, you start slowing down, and if it fills up enough, you get the super combos available to you, though it's probably a bad strategy to actually try and get poisoned in order to use them. But they can help in a pinch. Now, here this mysterious figure asks you to pick a card, but I believe that choice only matters if you manage to make it to the final boss. And speaking of bosses, this game has a great array of bosses with neat patterns that you'll have to learn to avoid. So the game doesn't disappoint there. It also doesn't disappoint with its hilarious voice acting.
What's happening?
Hey guys, what's up? What's going on? You might have also noticed that when I'm aiming the gun, there's a sphere that appears, and that changes from blue to red, and finally it blinks. And what that is that's how well you're aiming, and how much damage you're about to cause. It's often worth it to wait a second until you aim a little bit closer to the zombie's head before opening fire. And this mechanic works out really, really well in a zombie-themed game. When you're drawing a beat on that zombie, you really feel like you're in a George Romero movie or something. Notice here how dual handguns is spelled. That's great. I do have a couple gripes with this game. One is that the combos are quite stiff and it's too easy to get locked into them and be unable to really react to oncoming zombies. And the second is that the damage model is really unforgiving. I mean, you can get really messed up from just a couple zombie bites. Now, I used to be able to one-credit this game all the way to stage 4, and you're not going to see me play that well here. I'm quite out of practice, and when I played this again, I actually game overed somewhere on the first boss, which is quite embarrassing. So you're not going to see me play this really well. You know, you can block in this game, and you're going to see me fail to do that many, many times again.
It's coming out!
Hey, you'd be pissed off too if you're made of mozzarella cheese and someone just woke you up from your nap. So, as an early Dreamcast release, this game does not have the greatest graphics. However, when I first saw this in the arcade, it was a little bit earlier, and I was actually really impressed by how smooth the graphics were. You know, this is the time when the PlayStation 1 kind of rules supreme, and a lot of arcade games like Gauntlet Legends, they looked pretty good, but they were a bit jittery. This game, by contrast, runs at a flawless 60 frames a second, and there's no skipping, no jittering, nothing like that. It's just not up to the polygon splendor of something like, say, Resident Evil Code Veronica. What makes the game so engaging, in my opinion, is that you're always alternating punches and gunshots. You have to really prioritize the enemies on screen. For instance, you should be rushing those zombies that have guns. You can actually tell when they're about to shoot because they cock the gun, so that's really useful and important visual information. I used to consider this game a guilty pleasure of mine, but upon playing it more, I have to say a lot of good thought went into making this game. It's also good at breaking up the action because there are parts like this where you're not just, scrolling along and beating up hordes of zombies. In this part, you have a time limit to nail enough zombies so that you can make your getaway in the helicopter. There's also a part where you have to stop a train and you have to kind of dedicate this time to pulling this emergency handle, but at the same time you're fending off zombies. So I do find Zombie Revenge to be a pretty inspired arcade game.
Loaded with explosives and the virus, and is headed for Cassandra.
Damn.
It's also worth mentioning that this game is set in the universe of House of the Dead, and you might recognize some of the enemies from that. In fact, one of the levels is the mansion and the courtyard from House of the Dead 1. So if you're a fan of that, that gives you another excuse to pick up Zombie Revenge. So that pretty much sums up Zombie Revenge. It's a pretty good beat 'em up, and if you like this kind of thing, I would really recommend it. It's not a graphical powerhouse, you'll have to look past a few flaws, but in the end, I find it to be a rewarding and deep game. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and have a great Halloween. And yeah, try not to get hit in the head with whatever the hell those things are, because that looks really painful.
Damn it.